don't try to make him a Republican in today's terms or a Democrat in today's terms. As a matter of fact, don't besmirch him with any of the modern labels. The old ones were bad enough, because the modern labels are an absolute joke. What would you call President Clinton? A conservative? No, no, no. A liberal? No, no, no. He wouldn't like that. Well, then what do you call him? And if the word conservative meant anything, why would George Bush have to come from Texas, where he was a conservative, and suddenly become a compassionate conservative? And if Democrat meant anything, why would you have to run as a new Democrat? Why would you need those mitigating muck-up words attached to the label if the label told you about the candidate? So the labels don't mean anything. And they didn't mean much in his time. He was a Whig who became a Republican. I say you shouldn't try to label him. He's too supple for that. And if you absolutely forced me to give you a label because you only had 2 words to describe him, I'd say, well, call him progressive and call him pragmatic and make him a pragmatic progressive or a progressive pragmatist. And because he was broader than that. He was more. Here's a good example, I think, of that. Right now, if we have an argument about who are the conservatives, who are the liberals, you'd probably have to start it by saying, okay, what do they say about the role of government? And the conservatives would say, as Reagan did, and as Clinton did at one point, the era of big government should be over. Big government is the problem. Little government is what we believe in. And then you'd go to the liberals, and they'd say, well, no, we need more government. You go to Lincoln, and what does he say? I mean, he doesn't fall into that foolish trap. He doesn't play that simplistic game. He said, look, it's basic. The Constitution brought us together. Government is the coming together of people to do for one another collectively what they could not do as well or at all privately. And so if you can use the market system, use the market system. Don't bother with us. If you could build all the roads we need in this country, don't ask Eisenhower to do the road program. Just build them and make them toll roads like Europe. If you could educate everybody in this country through the market system, well, then Lincoln wouldn't have wasted my time saying one of the first things we have to do is education. And for your information, neither would Adam Smith have done it in The Wealth of Nations, when he says, look, market systems are inevitable if you're going to have a good society, but they're not sufficient by themselves. There have to be interventions, and he named specifically education. So Lincoln didn't read The Wealth of Nations. Maybe he did. I don't see any evidence, but he didn't need to. He was as smart as Smith was, only he said it better. And if you take that test and apply it to everything, you end this argument about the role of government. It gets to be very easy, because then you're arguing ad hoc. Space program, Kennedy wants one. Oh, conservatives, you want to leave it to the private industry? Maybe Boeing will do it. I don't think so. So how about government? Yeah, it's a good investment. And so we're in it. And on and on and on. With Lincoln, it was internal improvements. We're talking about a bank. We need a bank. With Hamilton, it was the national bank, et cetera, et cetera. But that's always a correct analysis, all through it. When it got to Roosevelt, and poor people were dying because nobody was there to help them, and old people who were sick had no help, Roosevelt said, look, we have to make a change in this democracy. There are a lot of things the market is not doing for us beyond public schools, and that's health care and work for people, or help for people who are out of work, and retirement benefits. So you do Social Security, unemployment insurance, workers' benefits of all kinds, and then later Johnson does Medicare and Medicaid. And this is Lincoln. And if you had paid attention to Lincoln in the early stages and didn't make these simplistic arguments about government is bad, government is good, it's neither. It's necessary, and when it's necessary, you use it. When it's not, you don't. We could use that talk today from Lincoln.